What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to. Can you close the door real quick? Actually. Anyways, we're gonna continue, even though Jacob's closing the door. He's off frame. Welcome back to the Jacob and Me podcast show, where we are redoing it kind of in a way, but we're gonna throw everything else we've been doing besides Across the Pond in it because it's us. We thought it was to our show. We should be able to talk about whatever we want. So, yes. First part of it will be the same as Jacob and Me that we've always done on video games, nerd stuff, comic books, movies, and all the other stuff we like to jerk off to. The second part of it will be the undrafted opinion, so it's us talk about sports. So if you don't like sports, you're able to opt out right there. And then at the very end, we already talk about the terrible world of politics, history, and
terrible
news.
world.
So you can, if you are only here for the first part, then second part is sports. So if you don't like sports, you don't have to do that. And then at the very end, we talk about politics because that seems like if you got that far, you're somewhat enjoying that.
You get a gold star.
Yes.
If you get that far.
But regardless, I'm Richard Hugh.
I am Jacob Bullard.
How you doing, Jacob?
Too early to tell.
Too early to tell?
Yeah.
Well, we got a lot of stuff to talk about.
Yeah.
So I don't even know how long this episode is going to be in the first place. But for Jacob and Me portion, we are going to be talking about MoviePass, IGN plagiarism. What was the last one?
The
Nintendo
Smash
Direct.
Direct.
Nintendo Direct, which is on Smash. And then on Undrafted, we're going to talk about my Scioscia, my fantasy football team, which is lit. And then you're going to talk about big trades that happened at the deadline that happened about a week and a half ago now, right?
Yeah.
And then at the end, we are going to talk about some history for this week. We're going to talk about InfoWars, and we're going to talk about Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Again.
You ready?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm ready.
Let's do it. Let's just get into MoviePass. I actually used MoviePass yesterday. Right before I went to drafts, I was like, I'm just gonna chill out.
What did you go see? What movie did you see without me this time?
I went to go see Christopher Robin.
Oh, thanks for the invite.
Well, I went to go see it because it was like right there with Jack's house, and I was waiting.
Oh.
I had like an hour and a half to kill, and I was like, okay, I'll just go watch this movie real quick.
Oh.
I sat in AC, and it was amazing.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But yeah, MoviePass restructured 1 week and then restructured again the week after.
Yeah.
After the backlash.
Nope.
So, as it stands right now, you're allowed to watch 3 movies a month,
Yep.
and then after that, it's like $5 extra.
It's after anything. So like your fourth movie could be quote up to $5 off.
Oh, okay.
So like when we go to Century and it's like $9.50 or whatever it is, it could be anywhere from $9.50 to $4.50.
Okay.
Because I don't know why it's not just a set price discount. It varies depending on where you live, I guess.
They definitely changed the times because I don't think you can see matinees at all.
I don't think there are any restrictions.
Yeah, I think if you look at the times, they don't have anything at like 11 or 1 o'clock really. Times. Yeah, it's mostly like everything after 2, from what I've noticed here in our area, because we have a bunch of movie theaters. It's definitely a lot more dense in movie theaters where we live than somewhere in the middle of the country for sure.
Yeah.
So we got like a lot more options, which is why I think MoviePass is good for us, but not for someone like that only has like 1 or 2 movie theaters out where they live.
Oh, so they just popped up with the updates. So yeah, 3 standard movies a month for $9.95. And up to a $5 discount on additional tickets purchased. It says we're suspending ticket verification, so you don't have to take a picture anymore of your ticket stub. They've also suspended peak pricing.
That's just for the lazy people, though.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. I did accidentally. I was worried I wasn't going to be able to use my MoviePass one time because I forgot to take a picture when we went to see Ant-Man, and I lost my Ant-Man stub. Like I didn't know where it was, and then like 3 weeks later, I went to use it to go see The Equalizer, and I opened up the app and it was like, "Give us a picture." I was like, "Uh-oh." But basically, they kind of give you like a slap on the wrist. It's like if you keep doing this, it could affect your account, kind of thing. But now it doesn't even matter. So it's gone now. No more ticket verification. I think that's something that could come back because the problem they were having with the like why we got ticket verification is that people were checking in at the theater and then using the card to buy other things because the card would have like $15 on it.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
So say we went to the marketplace where it's really expensive there, 14 something if you go to an evening show. So we check in at 14.50 and then we go to the corner bakery and get food. Like that's why the ticket verification thing came around.
That makes more sense now.
So that's something that could still happen. So
for me, I thought it was only
unless
just
they
like to
change
make sure that
something,
you're going
maybe
to the actual movie. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But yeah,
I'm pretty sure it was because other people were actually using it for different things.
that's a smart move. That's really clever. I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
Because you're just preloading money
There's
onto the
a more
card.
details thing. Let me click on this. So this starts Wednesday, August 15th is when the new plan. This actually it says it's between a $2 and $5 discount, so you get at least $2 off on any ticket after your third purchase or after your third thing
For this month.
for the month. Yeah.
It's still not bad. Like I'm fine with like only watching 3 movies a month. It's still a good deal. I don't have a problem with that. And then after that, like you still get a discount. I know we were shopping around to see what was the next thing if we were going to move on from Movie Pass, if they would have went down.
Yeah.
And like AMC's little deal was pretty lit. And then
The Cinemark Pass or whatever.
Pass. Yeah. Actually, Starlight has a new one too that that's what theater because of the Starlight Theater, at Cinema City.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
so they have like their own thing going on too. So it's like everyone's starting to get their feet wet into all this, which is interesting to see. I think the only thing that's going to happen only good thing that's going to happen is if like something like Movie Pass or whatever service is going to be out there, it's just going to benefit us more because there's more competition.
Yeah. So they're also eliminating the annual subscription. So for everyone that has that, you won't be able to renew your annual subscription when your next billing date hits. It will move you into the monthly like $10 a month plan.
I don't think that's a problem. I mean, people will be like, "Oh my god, I can't buy it." It's like, well, we don't know if we're gonna make it that far, so that's a good point.
Yeah. Just trying to read through this real quick. I'm really glad they got rid of the peak pricing. That was really why. So a few weeks ago, there was a lot of people have always thought that MoviePass was never going to be able to sustain itself because being able to see as many movies as you wanted was just like not a financially viable option. Like if we went to a movie every day, we're talking about $10 a day, but we're only paying $10 a month. Like how are they going to make up that deficit?
Yeah.
And so they started introducing the peak pricing where it was for me every time that I used it, I think it was like $5.60 more, to go see like on an opening weekend or like on an evening of like a big. Like when I went to see The Equalizer with my dad, it was an extra $5.60, and like he doesn't go to the theater that often, so I didn't mind paying that once to like go see that with him.
Yeah.
But it started getting really out of hand. Like the next weekend, Mission Impossible, they ran out of money. Like they hadn't. There was a service outage because they had no money.
It was literally bad timing for you because you're like, I'm really stoked for this.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. So the day before, or I guess the opening night, the Thursday that Mission Impossible came out, they literally had $0 in their bank account, and they had to take out an emergency loan to keep the service going. And the peak pricing hit like $8. I didn't even use my movie pass for Mission Impossible because I couldn't. It was unavailable. And then they blocked Mission Impossible for the whole opening weekend because they didn't want the money that they just took on the loan to just get like sucked away immediately.
Yeah, basically. It's a weird how they figured this out, but it's a lot of these like app or tech companies that like do it until they figure out like a way to get like solid money out of it, I guess. Because I mean, like, Amazon, like their profit margins aren't that big from what I've heard and what I've seen. So they'll figure something out to where they'll be able to. Because I think the original idea was like to get like discounted tickets from the movie theater, which I think before this, I mean, the movie theaters were still, I mean, they weren't not packed, but like this, I bet this encouraged people that were not people that go to the movie theater often at all, or to go, or they would basically, only go for like certain movies and then just wait until they come out on DVD
like a red
or
box
on Netflix.
Yeah,
yeah. So
and also the subscription for a really short period of time went up to $15 a month. Last week they moved it up to $15, and then they're like, nope, we're gonna make. And then they made all these changes that we've gone through. I mean, it's good for them. I do feel that it might be too little too late. They might have lost too many people over the last few weeks. I don't know. I personally, like you talked about, like we had been kind of shopping around to see which subscription we were going to move to because it was like there were never movies available. There was surge pricing all the time, basically. It went up to $15 a month, so we were looking at what our other options were. And them moving back, I think, saved probably both of our subscriptions.
Yeah.
Like because it's still, 3 movies for $10 and then a discount on anything more than that. I think that's still a good deal. Still the best deal.
Yeah. I mean, my parents still are gonna use it regardless. I know, because I think this past couple of weeks they were like, "What's wrong with the movie pass?" And I was like, "What do you mean? Like, I can do search. I can't go watch this new movie." I'm like, "Can't watch the movie. I don't know what you want me to do. Like, I can't go movie pass. Make my mom and dad be able to watch this movie." But no, it was I mean, I think regardless, they still paid the extra like surge price because they're like, but they really wanted to see. I don't know what movie it was, but they usually go and like my dad will pick one movie and then my mom will pick the next movie, so it's like weird. So it doesn't really matter for them, I guess, in a way. But yeah, they've been using that a lot, like way more than a usual person would probably use it, I guess.
Yeah. I don't think I'll have really any problems with the 3 movies a month thing. The only time I think it may be a problem is like Oscar season, like November, December.
Yeah.
When a lot of the
last year
bigger not bigger movies necessarily, but like Oscar favorites are going to be coming out.
Last year for us it was good because we saw like everything before it got nominated. I think we almost saw all those movies before they got nominated, so it was like perfect.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think with that and how we time it all out, everything will come back into theater. So whatever we missed through the trickle, like whatever went through our fingers during the fall, we'll be able to watch during Oscar season. So I think it'll work out for us a little bit better. But
yeah, so good on MoviePass for making these changes. I wish that if MoviePass had just started with this,
it would have been fun.
They would own the market.
Yeah,
they would have everyone. And also, thank you to MoviePass for creating this market, like creating this subscription sort of like movie experience. I think it's been a good thing for movies. I think there's more people going to see movies now.
Yeah, and it's better. It's good for the theaters too because people want to spend more money on concessions too. So
yeah, it's
not like the movie theaters lose out on any of this. Moving on, IGN. Pew 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 pew. What was the other gaming channel or
the guys thing was called Boomstick Gaming.
Yeah, Boomstick Gaming put out a review on Soft Cell, right?
Dead Cells?
Or Dead Cell?
Dead Cells.
Is it Dead Cell or Soft Cell?
I'm pretty sure it's Dead Cells.
Okay. Regardless, so they put a review out on Dead Cell, and the head editor at IGN for Nintendo, what's his name again?
Philip Minuchin.
Yeah, Philip Minuchin put almost an identical review out from what they did at Boomstick Gaming. And then Boomstick Gaming did a I don't know what you call it.
Yeah, it is Dead Cells.
Like a split comparison, and they played the video almost identically, like from start to finish. And the videos are basically mirroring each other.
Right. Yeah.
A little bit.
His review came out like a week before the IGN review.
Yeah. So but it's a little fishy, obviously, because not only what he's saying is very similar, but also like the way it was done, like. He didn't even like switch things out. Like he could have like put things in the beginning and the end, and I don't know. It just sounded fishy. I mean, I would hope that he actually didn't plagiarize, and like that's just him reviewing it, and that's what it came out with.
Well, I think it's already basically been determined that he did because he was fired and.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like I would hope that he did, but if he did, then it's like. I don't know.
It was way too close. I mean, there were some even just the word choice.
Yeah. He changed it a little bit.
He couldn't even right-click on the word and find a simile.
It's just weird though. It's like, I know because we saw like a couple guys tweet and then tweet out about this, and then especially Colin was like, "I don't get it. Like video game journalism is like real easy. It's like, I don't know, man. It's just like, it's your job, dude. Like, what are you doing?"
I guess he was just pressed for time and. And there have been just reading through kind of the threads on social media, there have been other people that have stepped forward and said that like IGN has like failed to credit. I guess they're in kind of a little gray area in some other respects because they don't cite the source unless it's basically like it has to be in IGN's view like as a credible source.
Yeah.
And so like the example that I was reading about was like some guy that put up that like published a story. I forget what the story was about, and IGN, instead of sourcing that person that came up with the story or that like small channel or game company or whatever, they waited for Kotaku. I think they waited for a Kotaku article on the story, and then they cited the Kotaku article. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So like Kotaku wrote an article about what this guy was talking about, and then sourced him. And IGN put up an article about what this guy was talking about, but sourced Kotaku's article, which sourced him, instead of just sourcing the guy directly.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Yeah, that's weird.
So they have this like really weird policy that.
Well, it's not a weird policy. Just like we're only gonna cite people that we want to cite. That's it. That's not.
Yeah, I guess.
It's not really.
So anyway, so definitely it's a really bad look for IGN, though I don't think that. I think it's Dan Stapleton is like their reviews editor. I mean, it's very possible that he didn't even know that this other one existed.
Damn.
Yeah.
I
So
would,
like
I would
don't
hope that just to say like, because that would suck to do something and then like find out like, oh. Shit.
Yeah.
I mean, you're basically dead.
Yeah.
Almost.
So hopefully it was like just Philip in on it basically,
Yeah.
and like no one else. They've already they let him go. So they're gonna be hiring a new Nintendo editor. And that guy had only been there probably, I don't think it's been a year yet. I want to say he came in for Jose Otero like in February or March.
Okay.
Because there was like a big stretch on Nintendo Voice Chat where like Pear was hosting because they didn't have an IGN editor after Jose left to work at Nintendo. So I think it's probably only been like 7 or 8 months that he's been there. So they'll need to obviously get another Nintendo editor.
Well, I mean, you follow more of all the podcasts that they have. I mostly just listen to GameScoop, Unfiltered, and I think that's it basically. Because I just want the gist of everything. I don't need to have to listen to specific stuff because they usually cover everything in GameScoop that I want to hear and listen, and it kind of gives you a good generalization of what's going on in gaming. But yeah, I mean it does suck regardless. I don't know. I just feel bad that he's like I get like he's getting what he's hopefully deserves, but
I mean yeah, I think so.
So but I still feel bad. Just like that sucks.
Yeah, because he probably did it for a really stupid reason. Like he was, like I said, like he was just short on time, or
if he did it to spend more time with his family, I feel bad. But yeah, but I think IGN as this whole, I mean they're my most reliable game source in a way.
Yeah.
For me, I mean, they're still number one regardless.
For all the talk of like the death of that sort of media, now it's like shifting to more like the YouTube kind of.
Well, yeah, it's been shifting for like the longest time.
But I mean, IGN is still like IGN. IGN is still IGN.
Yeah.
Like they're still the biggest name.
I still love Ryan McCaffrey.
Yeah. So it's definitely like we said, it's just bad to see that sort of like laziness.
Yeah, but moving on from laziness, let's move on to Nintendo Direct on Smash Bros. Ultimate, man.
Yes.
All right. You forced me to watch a 25-minute video.
Yes, I did.
You watched it live.
And it was glorious.
I woke up to a text saying, "Hey, watch this."
And you were like, "Oh, when's it on?" I was like, "It was on at 7." Get with it.
I was like, "Okay, all right." And then I watched it, and I was just laughing the whole time. I don't know. This is going to be our bigger topic, I guess, on the show. It was, I don't know. I felt like they could have done this in like 5 minutes.
No, but that's the glory of Nintendo.
But like doing it in 25, I was just like, okay, just announce the characters. You don't need to show me what they do, or maybe like a little snippets, so you kind of get people like, oh, what kind of moves does he do? Like, I feel like showing everyone what it does or what those specific characters do kind of like ruins the kind of like
they've already
the mystery of like what they're gonna be able to do in the game with it. I feel like is like fun.
They've already said that they're gonna. So like ever since E3, when they like first announced Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, it was, or I guess not announced, but like really detailed it. They've been releasing videos of every little change. Like they're taking it real seriously.
Yeah, I know.
Like all like the super fine details of how the game works, and they're releasing all these videos about the little changes. I mean, like changes in speed of certain attacks, like jumps and like play styles for all the different
I
characters.
think they're just preparing for the backlash of what people are gonna complain about. Oh my god, my character doesn't do this anymore. Why is he so much slower? Why is he so fast? Stuff like that. I feel like people are too, especially the Nintendo community, from what I've seen in person on Smash, it's like they're too nitpicky, dude. Like I'm like, dude, it's just a video game, man.
Well, this game is gonna be forever. Because there is like all the characters you could possibly want. I don't know how. I have no clue how they're gonna balance this.
Yeah,
but
that's my number one problem. I was just like, what is going like, yo, dude, we're not playing like UFC where we have every fighter that the UFC, man. Like, get in, get out. But I don't know. It's I mean, for me, I enjoy Smash. I enjoy playing with you guys and everyone else or any other. Like if someone's like, "Oh, you want to play Smash Bros?" I'm like, "Yeah, okay." But like, I'm not like super invested, but like I still can respect the game. It has a lot of I've lost a lot of nostalgia from the N64 times of like playing it. But regardless, you know, what do we have? Who got
So they announced 5 new characters in this Nintendo Direct. So Simon and Richter Belmont from the Castlevania. So like the whole video started in like and also it's gonna be a new map, Dracula's Castle. So I've never played a Castlevania game, so I didn't really understand. I didn't get that reference right like straight off the bat. But Simon and Richter Belmont are both added to the roster. Richter seems like he could be the most interesting because he has this like flail. So like he has like, I think they said that he has the longest range of anyone. Like his standard attacks have the longest range of any of the fighters.
Okay.
I guess excluding like people with guns, like longest like melee range.
Okay.
Of anyone in the game.
I mean, a gun's kind of still melee range, but yeah.
No, you're not like hitting someone with a gun. You're shooting him.
I feel
Star
like,
Fox and
I feel like when you're still throwing something, it's still like a projectile instead of a melee weapon.
And then they added 2 new. I totally forgot the phrase that they use. Like mirror characters.
Trophies?
No. Like characters that are in the game. Like they're different characters, but they have the same moveset as someone else. I should have.
Yeah, they're just like you can. There's like a different skin basically.
Yeah. So Chrom from Final Fantasy, because just in case we didn't need any more Final Fantasy fighters.
I don't. That's another part.
Not Final Fantasy.
Like it lose me.
Sorry, Fire Emblem. I don't know what I'm talking about.
I've never played some of these games, so I'm like, I don't know who this is.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I know. So now we have another blue-haired dude with a sword to go along with Marth and Lucina and Roy and all these other people who basically, and I guess Ike, although Ike is slower.
A lot of swords.
So Ike actually has a difference. But yeah.
Sword me,
sure.
bro.
Congratulations. Welcome Chrom to Super Smash Brothers. They also had a Dark Samus, which is basically just a cool skin. This literally could have just been, you know how you can click on the characters and cycle through the colors?
Yeah.
This literally could have just been that. Because they did that.
Dog,
they have that.
New character, dog.
They have that for Dark Link. Like if you choose Link and you keep clicking through, one of them is like black with red eyes.
Next direct for Smash, I was going to say Dark Link is going to be his own guy.
Yeah, I guess. Then the last one they teased at the last new character. They teased at the very end. They got me with the King Dedede. They had like the shadow, and then it turned out it was just King Dedede. But then we actually got it. Someone that has been requested in Smash Bros. For a really long time. King K. Rool from the Donkey Kong games.
Donkey Kong.
I'm actually really excited about that.
I love Donkey Kong.
Because they put out the last Smash, they had like public voting for like who they wanted to see, who people wanted to see as new characters, and King K. Rool was always up there.
Ice Climbers.
Well, we got the Ice Climbers back already.
But
so
I'm just saying, Ice Climbers.
Yeah, I know.
They're so cute.
So more characters to throw into the mix. This goes along with Ridley, Daisy that they added. They brought back Snake, brought back Ice Climber. So like a lot of new things.
Head movement.
Yeah.
Head movement.
They also gave some details on the new stages. So Dracula's Castle is going to be in. And there's all these different enemies from the Castlevania series. They're gonna like appear on the map.
Yeah,
and,
there's, like,
impact the map,
I think 8 different.
something like
Yeah.
that. Yeah. And then I guess they said every like once in a blue moon or whatever, like Dracula will actually show up on the
He's
map.
like,
and
so
that's
dude,
gonna-
you want to get murdered? Let's go. Fire.
There's 103 total stages, and that's not counting each mode that you can put the stage in. So there's Battlefield mode and Omega mode
Mhm.
for every single stage.
So there's
over 300.
over 300.
Over 300.
Plus, you can also switch them or pit 2 stages, and then you can just switch the stage.
Right, yeah. So now you can pick 2 stages, and at random, or you can set how frequently it does it, but one of the options is random. It will switch between the 2 stages. When you're fighting with like the custom settings, you can turn off all the hazards. So you can just like play on the stage without anything like crazy happen. So like if you're playing on like the Mario Kart stage, for example, like the guys won't go by on the track. It'll just be the Mario Kart like stage without the actual racers.
That'd be kind of weird.
Without all the little shy guys.
Why are you even on the track, bro?
Yeah, I guess.
Why are you not flexing on me, bro?
I like stuff like that because I don't like to lose because of random crap.
Yeah,
That's why I don't fight with items either.
I know. And then I think 800. There's 800 tracks, bro.
Yeah, and what's actually interesting too, though, is that you can basically use your Switch as like an iPod.
Yeah,
play all of the like classic music from all the games.
My problem with that is that like Nintendo doesn't know how to make any menu really good. They just know how to make menus. So I don't know how efficient this thing's gonna be because like you gotta go through 800 tracks. Like hopefully, like Nintendo. There's a thing called iTunes. Just go copy paste, dog. That's it.
Yeah. I think they showed it a little bit. I think it'll be all right. It was like you like go into the music, you pick what game you want to listen. Like this, it's then listed by game or maybe franchise, and then you click the individual songs. But yeah, you have the option to just listen to the songs independently. You can customize for every map. So say there's 10 songs. Say you're fighting on, again, I guess we'll use Mario Kart track as the example. So like there'll be 10 or 12 songs from the Mario Kart track, and you can customize the frequency of like what songs show up.
Yeah. Yeah, it's cool. I like the custom. Like, I think a lot of people like dig that stuff. I'm like,
I don't really care. That's not really something that I was like pushing for.
That was like one thing I was like, you could have just said like, oh, you could customize music and like figure it out on your own, and like a ton of people would have figured it out.
Yeah,
but they didn't. I don't know. It's like a feature that was like, I don't know if this is news or like just I don't feel like it's like not relevant, but maybe I don't know. I was gonna say I think a lot of people, Nintendo people, are just very nitpicky. So this kind of caters to those kind of people.
Yeah, I'm curious to see like what I really want to know is how good are the controls with either the Pro controller or in handheld mode. But I do have the GameCube adapter and a GameCube controller already, so I'm ready for that.
Ready to bone.
Smash Brothers launches on December 7th, coming up at the end of the year. I'm sure there'll be new characters announced.
At least.
I can't imagine them getting through this without Banjo and without...
You know that screen they had? I can't... They have to have at least
Crash
like
Bandicoot.
another thing of all the characters, like another stack.
Yeah. Probably.
Oh, dude.
And they showed us like the main menu, but they blurred out like one of the the bottom left corner.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, we can't talk about this right now.
Ooh, it's
So there's at least one other sort of game mode that's coming out. Oh, they also announced
go on Pornhub to watch that, by the way.
they also announced the tournament. You can set up your tournament.
Yeah, that's actually
like you
cool.
could in. I think you could do that. I don't know about Brawl, but you
like
could do that in Melee.
Also, the like how from the other fighting games, you're able to switch out. Not switch out, but you pick 5 or whatever amount of characters, and then you choose those, and you fight against. You know how you play like Marvel vs. Capcom?
Okay.
And you pick like 3 fighters.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I like that idea, and then the idea of what was the other one where you're able to not pick the same fighter every time? So
So there's a new game mode. I forget what they called it, but basically, yeah. So say you're playing like 4. I guess you can play up to 8, but that's just crazy. Say you're playing like 4-player Smash. Whatever character you use is taken off the board when the fight's over.
Yeah.
So like, I know the first time that we play this with like our friends, I'm gonna pick Pikachu. So Anthony will not be able to pick Pikachu, and then Pikachu will be gone from the game.
He's like, have some respect, bro. I'm Pikachu, man.
I will just run Pikachu off the stage, like however many lives I have, and just get it over with. Just get out. Get Pikachu out of my life.
But yeah, I think that's interesting. I think it's, like I said, that's what caters to more of the hardcore, nitpicky kind of guys and girls. I know girls play video games too, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I like it. I think this is like, maybe I may get a Switch at that time when it comes out, because like the bundle deal looks pretty sick.
Yeah.
It's all black and everything. I was like, oh my god.
You don't really get anything with that except like you get an adapter and a controller. Like it's not.
I don't. But my problem is like I just want like I like the Pro controller more than the
I've actually never used a Pro controller.
what's it called?
I've always played
the
in just
GameCube.
handheld. Yeah.
I don't like the GameCube controller. It's just too weird.
You're a monster.
That stuff is just.
The GameCube controller is the only way to play Smash.
Well, the only reason why I would want to play Switch is I want to play all the side-scrolling games I'm playing right now, like Mega Man, Limbo. I want to play the new Mega Man. The one that they did the review on, Dead Cells. Yeah. I want to play Cuphead. Oh, eventually, Cuphead's coming to.
I think so. Yeah.
The Switch. Well,
I want to play Hollow Knight and Shovel Knight.
Shovel Knight, yeah, Hollow Knight, all that stuff. And then there's Oh no, you said Hollow Knight. Never mind. Hollow Knight looks lit, dude. That looks. I went to what's it called? A thing last week where I played Dungeons and Dragons, and Chase was there, and he had his Switch, and he showed me Hollow Knight. That game looks sick, dude. Oh my god, the lighting and everything.
Yeah.
But anyways, it's pretty lit, dude. If you like Smash a like right there.
Hey.
But yeah, we're gonna continue to cover this as we go on to its launch. I don't know. I think that's pretty much it for all the video game news that we have, or we were gonna cover.
Yep.
There's something else crazy. I would recommend if you guys have a lot of time on your hands and you drive a lot, listen to IGN Unfiltered, please. That I've listened to like 3 of those, and I'm like, dude, this is like too good. It sucks. It's only once a month, but Ryan McCaffrey's real busy, so
yeah.
Anyways, moving on. Sports. So if you don't like sports, this is the part where you don't watch, I guess.
No, this is the part where we make you love sports.
Okay. All right.
With our excellent discussion.
This is the Undrafted Opinions part of the Jacob and Me podcast. We are going to be covering some other stuff, or some cool stuff in this. Mike Scioscia, the Lord of Orange County.
basically.
For almost 20 years?
This is his 19th season.
19th?
Yeah, he was hired in 2000.
Okay. I thought it would have been 99, but okay.
No, it's not yet 20. It's almost 20.
Okay.
He's the longest tenured manager in baseball right now.
Which I think is about time. I think it's, my dad's been very vocal about him moving on for a long time now, but I think it's a good thing for the Angels. Personally.
Yeah, we kind of buried the lead there. The Mike Scioscia. There's an athletic article that came out from Ken Rosenthal, who's like one of the most respected baseball journalists that are out there. That Mike Scioscia was going to be stepping down from the Angels at the end of the season. He was in a press conference like a couple days later. He said that the word that he used was poppycock. That it's like an old, like one of those old dead words that no one ever uses anymore. So basically, it was nonsense that like the rumors that he was going to be stepping down. They've always been.
Oh, so it's not true then?
He's denying. Like he has not.
Oh, I'm not happy.
No.
I thought it was.
Oh. Spoiler alert. He's not confirming it. But Ken Rosenthal doesn't mess around. Like if Ken I believe Ken Rosenthal that like this is going to be it, because Ken Rosenthal is not you can count on one hand the number of articles in the last 20 years that Ken Rosenthal is like, if he's willing to report on it, someone spilled the beans to him.
Yeah. I honestly think he should should step down. Also, Poole should retire. This is me personally, because I want to watch entertaining baseball in my area. He's not very. The only entertaining part about the Angels baseball right now is Mike Trout and Ohtani. That's pretty much it.
Cole Calhoun. I would take Cole Calhoun this last month.
I don't care about Cole Calhoun.
All right.
I need a new right fielder. Just saying.
Whoa! No. Not if he continues hitting the way he is.
If he dies, or is this whatever momentum dies, like in the next couple weeks, you're gonna feel different. So, regardless, there's a lot of pieces that need to be filled in that lineup. I feel there's pieces in the pitching that needs to be filled. Like,
yes.
Oh my god, like when we went to the batting cages like a month ago, where the guy was like, "Angels pitching hasn't been good since Bud Black's been there." Like Bud Black has been gone for over a decade now.
Really? That long?
Yeah, he was with the Padres.
I would
and
have
now
guessed like 7-8 years ago. Padres and the Rockies.
yeah, he left like late 2000s.
Maybe. Yeah, sure. I don't remember.
So it should have been 10 years by now.
Probably has
he was at the Padres for a while.
Yeah. Okay. I'm not gonna bother looking up. Whatever. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, 10 years. We put it sealed.
It's the truth. It's time sealed delivered.
But for me, it's like I want to see some entertaining baseball. You got Mike Trout. You got the best player in the league, and baseball in general, and like you're just like wasting his talent for me.
I mean, I agree that it's time for a change, but in no world do I blame anything that's happened on Mike Scioscia.
I can because like I feel like he emphasized too much on defending, like defensive players.
I would agree with that basically only for the catching position because you can't explain the existence of Luis Valbuena in the lineup. I think Mike Scioscia's biggest fallacy is that he relies too heavily on veterans over, like, why over the last couple months has, obviously since then Luis Valbuena has been designated for assignment. Like he's not even on the team anymore. But, there was a long stretch where Luis Valbuena was getting the at-bats over David Fletcher, for example. And David Fletcher has a higher batting average. He doesn't quite have the power. He only has 1 home run in his time in the major leagues. But like there was no reason that Luis Valbuena should have been playing over basically anyone. But Scioscia kept putting Valbuena. He's had this tendency over his tenure that he favors veterans.
I don't know.
But I mean, we've had more people on our disabled list than the rest of our division combined. We also have had on our 23-man roster this year, we've had 59 players. Like you can't account for that many injuries, and that's not his fault.
Oh, I mean, I guess, but like I still think he would like with the healthy pitching staff. I still feel like the Angels are not going to be that successful. I don't think they would have been, especially at the state of what the division is right now. I think they would be almost at the same spot as they are. Because I'm not gonna be a dick about it, but it's just like I have no faith in that pitching staff, healthy or not healthy, and it's just like you need to reload, honestly. But I mean, you got pitching prospects out of the trades that at the deadline.
Yeah, I think most of them are relievers, though.
You need some relief.
Yeah, like we need that. We need that too.
I don't know, man. Because every time you send someone out, you're basically sending them out to the guillotine. So, for me, I feel like it's a good step for the Angels. I think they need to get a guy that is able to, for what I've noticed and what I have seen, is with the Cubs and the Dodgers and how they're able to move guys around in their lineups and in the field. Fielding and able to have them adapt to that and then keep them in the lineup.
Yeah,
I think that's a thing I think that's a manager you're gonna want to look at because I feel like that's like what's gonna be considered standard in a way in the coming years. And I like watching Dodger games because they're actually entertaining and they're keeping their bats in the lineup regardless of and then they kind of obviously they adjust to what's going on in the game too, which is I think a thing that kind of seems like it's happening because obviously with all the statistics and all the shifts and stuff, but like
I mean the Angels shift.
Well, I'm talking about like in the sense of like your lineup has already gone up twice and like you're gonna keep the same lineup up there. I feel like the idea is like kind of different now because like how like you change guys in and out of the lineup from what I've noticed.
Well, the Dodgers play in the National League. Like it's a totally different ball game.
I know, but I'm just saying.
Okay.
I feel like that's like
sure.
It's gonna be like a thing.
Who do you think should replace him? I have two. I have an absolute like will never happen dream scenario, and then I have like a couple realistic options.
I don't know who's on the table or who's gonna get let go. So I don't know who the Angels are gonna overpay. So
I don't care if they overpay. It would be the first time. It'd be the first time in Artie Moreno's tenure as owner that he overpaid for anything except Albert Pujols. So
okay, but. Who's your dream pick?
Okay.
Oh, actually, no. Let's go with a realistic guy, and then we'll go with
the. Okay, the most realistic option that I think is on the table right now is from outside of the organization is Joe Girardi. He's
Okay.
not managing in New York anymore.
Yeah.
He's twiddling his thumbs, doing whatever. I don't know what Joe
He's
Girardi's
on,
doing right now.
he's
But
on-
Joe Girardi
he's on the
is
MLB
like
Network.
that's right. He's the biggest name that's available like right now today. From inside, it's looking like it could be Brad Osmus. There are 3 names on the inside. It's Josh Paul, who's the bench coach right now. Leave, get out, don't come back. Brad Osmus and Barry Zito are both special assistants or whatever to the GM. They have been for the last couple of years. So like Brad Osmus specifically has been kind of rumored to be like the internal option. And you've seen a trend recently of like young former players.
Yeah.
Like Aaron Boone in New York, for example, and
Correa's in Boston.
yeah.
And then someone else.
The Philadelphia,
Roberts
the Phillies,
is somewhat young too.
the Phillies manager, Gabe Kapler.
Yeah.
So if we go that route, that's kind of how I see that going. But the absolute dream scenario, and you need a couple things to fall into place probably for this to happen. The Chicago Cubs make the playoffs. All right. They win the World Series. Joe Madden, our boy, used to be a coach in Anaheim. Wants to go out on top, you know. He won the World Series. He won 2 World Series in Chicago, you know. Now's the time to step away. Get a new challenge in his life. And Joe Madden leaves the Cubs and comes back. That's the dream scenario.
That's
Do you know
what's
how
his contract
hyped
at,
that?
man?
I have no clue what his contract is. In
I
Chicago.
mean,
I'm sure it's like 15,000 years
Yeah.
until the end of time.
That would be nice.
But I'm gonna look up what his contract is right now, because Joe Madden to me and I guess similar, not as good option, but if they were gonna do something like that, it would be like a Bud Black,
Yeah.
where like someone, it would be like a good middle ground. But at the same time, I kind of feel like if we're gonna do this, we should just rip the Band-Aid off and like don't have any kind of legacy things. But Joe Madden would be an exception to that because he is an exceptional coach,
Yes.
an exceptional manager. I'm gonna look up real quick.
He got
what it is.
the Tampa Bay Rays to the World
Yeah.
Series. Yes, he's exceptional. No offense to the Rays fans. Sorry, not sorry.
Let me look. Joe Madden's the final year of his contract with the Cubs right now is next season, the end of next season.
Okay,
So
it's a possibility.
a little bit unfortunate that it's not this year. Another option, someone who has yet to renew a contract is Dave Robertson at the Dodgers.
Yeah, and
His
he's-
contract is up at the end of this year.
and then he's also in the area too. So
Right. Yeah. So those I think are both good options. I guess Brad Osmus is like just a big question mark. Like we don't know. Although it has seemed like a lot of those young managers have done well, although they also have good rosters. But the Angels have a good roster. It's just like we need to keep people healthy. They have a solid. If we could play MLB The Show and turn injuries off, the Angels have a good roster.
okay,
They have a better roster than the Phillies. They have a better roster than the Braves.
Okay, I'm not saying that.
They have a better roster than the A's and the Mariners in our own division. I'm just saying.
Okay.
The Mariners are finally receding back to what the
And
statistics and
what is
analytics have been telling us this whole season, that the Mariners actually suck. But they were somehow winning games.
Yeah, they're an anomaly.
Exactly.
What is going on? But yeah, we'll see. We'll see at the end of the year. We'll see what happens. Angels not going to make the playoffs.
No.
I
I mean, we're 500 right now, and we're in
Yeah.
fourth in our division.
Mhm.
We would be in, not in the East. There's probably at least 2 divisions where we'd be in second place right now.
Yeah.
With a 500 record,
easy.
which is ridiculous.
Welcome to baseball. But moving on to more baseball, we're gonna talk about the deadline stuff.
Yeah.
Talk about deadlines.
MLB trade deadline was the 31st of
pretty lit.
July. It was pretty lit.
It's pretty lit.
And obviously there were some like really big things that happened before that, like the Dodgers getting Manny Machado
And Dozier.
and Brian Dozier from the Twins. The Yankees got Zach Britton from the Orioles sold everyone except for Adam Jones.
Yeah.
Jonathan Shoup went to the Brewers. The Yankees got another pitcher too that I'm blanking on. Oh, Lance Lynn from the Twins.
They got J.A. Hop from the Cubs too, I think.
Yes, they did. That they did. We
Kinsler
covered
went to,
Dozier.
Boston.
Kinsler to Boston. Maldonado to Houston.
I think that was like. There's maybe one more bigger name that we're missing. Maybe. I think that's pretty much like the gist of it.
There were also some pretty significant rumors that for like a day or so, Bryce Harper was available.
Yeah, of course, because obviously Nationals don't want to just offload him, or I mean they would want to offload him before the end of the year, so they get something out of it.
Yeah, Cole Hamels went to the Cubs. Fernando Rodney went to the A's. Familia from the Mets went to the A's.
Archer went to the Pirates.
I do not understand that trade at all. The Pirates are not in a position to make a trade like that. Like they're not going to come out of the Central. The Cardinals and the Cubs and the Brewers are
maybe it's a deal for the future.
Better teams. But like they're not going to be contending immediately. It's not like they're up and coming.
Why no? I'm just saying.
That was a dumb move.
Okay.
They acquired someone else too, like right on the deadline. And then yeah.
They think they're capable, Jacob. Be nice.
I guess. I'm gonna try to look up a couple more real quick. We got Hap. I was really surprised that Jacob deGrom and or Noah Syndergaard won't move because the Mets are trash. I kind of expected Jacob deGrom to be the one that left because he has this really weird thing going because the Mets are so terrible where he allows 0 runs or 1 run and pitches at least 7 innings but doesn't get the win. He has this like really long I saw a stat a week ago that was like Jacob deGrom has had 5 starts this year against the Atlanta Braves, and in those 5 starts he had like a 1.76 ERA and he's 0-5 against the Braves. Like that's ridiculous.
Mm.
How does that keep happening? And I'm really I guess maybe the Mets were asking too much as far as like what they wanted in return. And I don't remember off the top of my head what the contract situation was like if he was going to be at the end of his year or not. Because like the Dodgers, for example, like both Machado and Brian Dozier, their contracts are up at the end of the season. Yeah. So they're basically just rentals.
Unless they want to re-sign.
Right, but I think the Dodgers are in a weird spot because they have a shortstop. And Manny Machado spent all of his time in Baltimore playing third base but wanting to play shortstop. And then they finally, like since they have no one this year, they finally let him move to shortstop. And like he's been great at shortstop. But like he's playing third right now for the Dodgers because of Justin Turner's injury. But I don't see, like, you either have to convince Corey Seager to play third, or I think you lose Manny Machado. I don't think he's going to want to go back to third.
So,
and realistically, you probably have to lose one of them anyway because you can't pay them both.
Yeah. Yes, and then there are also if he doesn't even want to stay in with the Dodgers too, because like if he likes LA and like that much, the only other I mean, I don't see him playing for the Angels. Simmons is there,
right?
Unless they, I mean, I don't know. That wouldn't make any sense. The Padres, they have Gavis, but he's pretty solid.
Yeah.
The A's, I don't know who the A's have at the moment. It's I can't think off the top of my head.
Chapman's at third. I don't remember who their shortstop is.
Yeah,
Archer
but regardless, yeah.
The Dodgers also acquired John Axford from the Blue Jays.
It was interesting for sure deadline for me. Just like a lot of Twitter.
It was one of the most active trade deadlines that I can remember. I think that basically everyone who has a shot at contending bettered their squads.
Yeah.
What was really interesting to see and kind of confusing to me was like the cannibalism that went on in the AL East. It's like there were also like the Blue Jays, the Orioles, and the Rays all traded people to the Yankees and Red Sox. And it's like, what are you guys doing?
They're done. I think they realize their season's already over.
But why would you trade in division?
Well,
I mean, I guess the Yankees specifically have the best to give. Like they have one of the best farm systems.
Yeah.
But why? Why would you trade?
They won a World Series this year, dude. Have it all.
I guess.
You get a prospect. You get a prospect. You get a prospect.
The Braves acquired Kevin Gossman and Darren O'Day from the Braves. Wait, what? That doesn't make any sense. It says the Braves acquire Kevin Gossman, Darren O'Day from the Braves. They traded with themselves, apparently, according to MLB.com.
That's sick.
That doesn't make any sense. The Phillies acquire Aaron Loop from the Blue Jays. Kinsler, Cubs got Brandon Kinsler for their bullpen from the Nationals. Wilson Ramos went to the Phillies from the Rays, which I think is a good move for him. And the Phillies are still contending. It's basically just them and the Phillies. It's just the Phillies and the Braves at this point. I don't think the Nationals are going to be able to get it together, which is talk about like. There's a lot of people, especially with the whole Mike Scioscia thing we were talking about how much the Angels have wasted Mike Trout. Can we talk for a second about how much the Nationals have wasted Bryce Harper? Like, what have the Nationals accomplished?
Well, I think the Nationals.
They have a much better roster than the Angels have,
I think.
and Bryce Harper,
And
the
made
best
the playoffs,
pitcher.
What, the last 2 years?
Yeah, but they've done nothing with it.
Yeah, but I'm saying no. They made the playoffs the last 2 years, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think Bryce Harper.
They're
is as
below
good as
5. The Angels are
Angels.
have a better record than the Nationals right now,
He just hits a lot of home runs.
and the Nationals have a much better rotation. A now depleted bullpen because they traded some guys away.
Jacob, it's the National League. It's different.
No. No.
It's different. It's different.
The Nationals should be walking away with that division.
Well, yeah. Because everyone's either a young team or old.
Yeah, I guess.
I don't know. Is that it?
Yeah, basically there were some other smaller trades.
Trade.
This is actually I think one that went under the radar. That's a big deal. Is the Braves getting Adam Duvall from the Reds? I think that's a really good move for them. To add another bat to their lineup. So yeah, it was pretty crazy. I think the big winners, depending on how Dozier's been great so far for the Dodgers. So I think like
a ball was like, oh.
So I think so I think assuming that the Orioles and the Twins don't hit on all those prospects that they got, I think that those will both go down as probably pretty good trades. Although the Dodgers gave 5 prospects for Manny Machado, so I don't know. That always seems like a heavy load to give away. But I think that the Dodgers definitely, if they don't win a World Series, I think it could be perceived as a failure. But I think at the moment that was a good trading deadline for them. The Yankees getting Zach Britton is big for them.
How's it gonna work with Chapman?
You pitch them both. 8th, 9th. When you get it doesn't matter because when you get in the playoffs, it's like the pitcher comes out and the starting pitcher comes out in the 5th inning anyway.
Yeah,
so
it's weird.
So it can be stacked with like Robertson and Chapman and Zach Britton.
Nasty,
it's gonna be crazy. There was it's the first time in a while where there have been 3 pitchers in the same bullpen that all had 180 career saves or more. So it's like Robertson, Chapman, and Zach Britton now. So it's like pretty crazy. They basically have 3 closers.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Man. Good options. Let's move on.
Let's do it.
Yesterday, August 6th.
Definitely August 9th.
Nope, I'm at 9th. Was Thursday. My fantasy football draft, which is actually kind of early because it's only like the first week of preseason. It's pretty lit. Lit. Your boy got Ezekiel Elliott in the first round. I didn't realize until I got to the house that we drafted at Jack's house that I had the 3rd pick overall, and I was like, "What?" Now my option is just like, I was because I already was planning like I thought I was like I'm probably like 7 or 8, so like I have a guy there, and I looked and I was like, guess who I'm picking, guys?
Who was taken in front of you?
Le'Veon Bell went first.
Okay.
And then number 2 was Todd Gurley.
Okay.
Who's like
Rams, right? Gurley
yeah. He's kind of like he's definitely one of the maybe surprising guys that'll be this year. Like I mean, he's already good. He's a good fan. Last year he was a good fantasy pick. Like he went like 2nd round last year, but he had such a good year last year that he was going to be a 1st round draft pick. But it seemed like there was other better running back. But Soren went with that. I got Ezekiel Elliott, so I'm good. I got the best old line to run behind. So 2nd round, I got Kareem Hunt, which like for some reason no one wanted to. We snake, so
okay.
So he
So
was.
you had like the however you were at the bottom of the next round.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
And
Okay.
I was looking at it and I was like, Kareem Hunt's still on the table. What is going on here, guys? He's a top 10 pick, easy. So I got Kareem Hunt. Travis Kelce, I got him because I want a tight end. Like people were looking at me weird, like I was like, dog, no, I need a tight end. I need a solid. Last year, my tight end situation was terrible. Carson Wentz was the quarterback I got the next round.
Okay.
Devin Fuchs, I think that's how you pronounce his name.
You took a wait. Let's go back for a second. We were talking last week, and you were saying like, oh, you never take a quarterback before the 5th round.
For me, it was like because everyone was starting taking quarterbacks already.
Okay,
So
so
I
you
was
had
like-
to get one while there was still someone decent.
Yeah, and I was either him or Wilson I had to choose from. So I was like, all right. And then literally after I picked, that's when like all the quarterbacks basically were gone. So I was like, okay. I think it's Funchi or Foos. Everyone was laughing at me when I pronounced it, but I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's how they pronounced it in Madden, and like how I've heard other people pronounce it. But regardless, I got him, and then Evan Ingram. So I stacked up on tight end, so I have currency now. So I'm like, who needs a tight end, guys?
Get your tight ends here.
And then there was just like a lot of guys that were just on the board, like Alan Hearns, Devontae Parker, Kelvin Benjamin. So I got basically number one receivers like later on. So I was like, I don't need receivers, dime a dozen. And then I picked up my last 4 picks were all rookies basically, and then like I got the Steelers defense because I was like, didn't pick a kicker because our league is so rigged in a way where you can just put people on the IR and they don't even have to be hurt.
What?
Yeah. So you can just store 2 people on the IR and then like have them sit there and no one can get them. So I did that.
So you're just gonna pick up a kicker off the field.
Yeah. And I got Calvin Ridley, it's OJ, no DJ Moore, Michael Gallup, and then Josh Allen, all 4 rookies. And I was like, give me the trophy already, dog. I'm just saying. I'm gonna make a good My problem is I'm in the best division because there's a guy named Kevin who doesn't show up to the draft and still has the best team regardless. So I'm scared about that. And we actually drafted him a decent team. So I'm like, oh, crap. But regardless, and then there's a new guy in the division for us. He's actually pretty decent. Decently knowledgeable about stuff. So, like, again, Big Papa's in the best division. It's all good. I'm going to be spanking some fools.
That just makes the playoff easier when you're in the best division.
No, it doesn't. Because then last year I had to play Kevin. I literally played Kevin back-to-back weeks. I played him my last week.
Oh, did you get the wild card?
Yeah, I had to get the wild card.
Oh, well, get good.
I only lost it. It was literally a 1 game. It was like it's like the Yankees and Red Sox.
Get
good. That's how it was,
good.
basically. But yeah, I'm excited. I have another draft coming up at the end of the month. I'm in 2 different leagues.
Cool.
Not that I'm like I was begged to be in this other one because they needed people and they know how funny I am and how entertaining I am and how much trash I talk or talk trash. What the hell did I just say? But yeah, I'm ready for football. Watched a little bit of the Rams and the Ravens yesterday.
The Ravens put the smack down.
Well, it wasn't like the Rams team, so
Yeah, it wasn't the Ravens team either.
yeah, but like it was. That's not how the Rams operate anyway, so it doesn't really matter. I wouldn't keep your hopes high on that. But regardless,
33-7.
football is back. I think next podcast I'll have some college stuff done and then we can talk about that, or I can talk about that.
You can talk about that, and I will sit here and laugh.
But yeah, it's football is back, baby.
I thought of one more thing that we need to talk about later.
For next time?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Take notes. Take notes, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to move on from our sports. Now we're going to move into some politics and history and news.
Let's do it. This week in history.
This week in history. We're going from August 5th to August 11th.
We're going to talk about some nukes. Or did we skip that? Or did you skip that?
News.
Nukes.
N-U-K-E-S.
N-U-K-E-S.
Oh, they said news. I was like, what?
No, we're going to talk about some nukes.
This is not new. I mean, kind of news. It's history. Yes. Yes, we are getting to nuclear explosions that happen in history. Not that we're smiling about it. It's just history. We like history a lot. We're weird. So August 5th, 1583, the first British colony in North America was founded by Sir Humphrey Gilbert, a British navigator and explorer. He sighted the Newfoundland coast and took possession of the area around St. John's Harbor, and in the name of the Queen. So I'm guessing-
God save the Queen.
Yeah, God save the Queen. August 5th, 1861, President Abraham Lincoln signs the into law the first federal income tax at 3% on incomes over $800 as an emergency wartime measure during the Civil War. However, the tax never actually was put into effect. So that was the first time ever our country had income tax put in place in law. Take more money. August 5th, again, sorry, 1962, film star Marilyn Monroe died at age 36 from an overdose of sleeping pills. She made 29 films during her career, and it was symbolize Hollywood glamour. I can't talk. Moving on.
I went back. I was curious, real quick. Hang on, I'll tighten in a second. I'm gonna finish what I'm gonna say. $800 is $22,170 today. I was curious.
I watched Gangs of New York the other day. I was talking like, what's it called? Stephanie and.
Oh well, whatever. I did tighten it.
Is it like? Yeah, untighten it.
Yeah.
You gotta get under this metal piece because it's just plastic. Right? That's why it's all. You gotta move it less. When you move it, you gotta move it like right here, not like because you're pushing it towards you.
I didn't even touch the bottom of it.
Yeah, but no, but you're pulling it, so it's moving this.
Fine.
Regardless, I'm gonna keep talking as Jacob tries to figure that out. John Eliot was born in 1604. Known as the Apostle to the Indians in his translation of the Bible into Indian tongue, was the first Bible to be printed in America.
Okay.
I don't know. That was weird.
Indian tongue? Is that literally what it says?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, that's weird. August 6th now. Here we go. Apparently, this happened through August 6th through August 10th. What's wrong?
I don't know. It just looked weird to me. Sorry.
Okay.
Continue.
So 1787, the Great Debate occurs during the Constitutional Convention. Outcomes includes the establishment of the 4-year terms of office for president, granting Congress the right to regulate foreign trade and interstate commerce, and appointing of a committee to prepare a final draft of the Constitution.
Did you actually know? I didn't learn this. I was reading do you remember the Madison versus Monroe book that I was telling you about?
Yeah.
I did not actually know that the Philadelphia Convention was the second convention. I didn't know that. There was one in Annapolis before, and not enough people showed
Yeah,
up.
I would say the first one, no one showed up.
Yeah,
really.
I didn't
And
know
then
that. Or I
they had
didn't. If I did know that, I didn't remember it.
I think they had to synthesize or
Yeah. So basically, what they did is they
synthesize. What's the word?
incentivize.
Incentivize.
Yeah.
People to come.
What they did to do that is convince George Washington to come to the convention because they knew that everyone would show up if Washington was there.
Yeah,
even though Washington had retired.
Washington's an OG, dog.
Yeah.
Let's keep moving. 1945. The first atomic bomb was dropped over the center of Hiroshima at 8:15 a.m. by American B-29 bomber Enola Gay.
Yep.
I said that right. The bomb detonated about 1,800 feet above the ground, killing over 150,000 people, destroying the city, and another estimated 100,000 persons died as a result of the radiation effects. We had because we're in a group chat thing on Facebook. It's very political, and there's a lot of things that came up this week because of the anniversary and everything. And we said last episode that we were gonna, regardless. And there's a lot of just weird, just debating that still goes on today about this stuff, and it's just weird.
Yeah, I think that there's kind of a little bit of I mean, obviously, that many people being killed, realistically, mostly civilians, is not what you want.
Yeah.
But given the alternative of a straight invasion of the Japanese home islands, that was the best option on the table.
Yeah. Also, it was not just like, I think out of that 100,000, it was like 31 was it was a military. It was like a military target, regardless.
Mm-hmm.
So 31,000 of those were all military people.
Yeah, and I've always thought, just me personally, that really the only evidence, and I said this like in the like group thing that we're in, that like the only evidence that you need that the bombs were the right option was that it took two. That we completely leveled one of their cities in like the blink of an eye, and killed all of those people, and Japan did not surrender.
Yeah.
That was the mentality that we were up against. Like, just so, like, you can go through and look at all throughout the island hopping that we did in the Pacific, and when those battles are over, I mean, we're talking about thousands of Japanese soldiers and American soldiers, but on the Japanese side, thousands of people dead and 0 to 10 survivors.
Yeah.
Because they literally fought to the death.
Yeah, a lot of just like suicidal, like grenade guys will jump on you with a grenade with them. Like, it's insane stuff like that.
And they found people like on all the little Philippine islands, like long after the war that ended, that didn't know the war had ended, and like there they are holding their post.
Yeah, and they still were assuming, or they had to get their families to come over and like to convince them, like, hey, yo, we're done.
Yeah,
come on.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the kind of mentality we fought against. 1962, Jamaica achieves independence after centuries of British and Spanish rule. During the 150 years of Spanish rule, African slaves were first brought to the island. The British invasion of 1655 and slave trade greatly expanded during the 1700s. During the abolition of slavery in the 1830s, Jamaica remained a British colony. 1965. The Voters' Rights Act of 1965 was signed into law by LBJ, which is also known as Lyndon B. Johnson. The act suspended literacy, knowledge, and character tests designed to keep African Americans from voting in the South. That one's not important. Oh, penicillin. So the guy that invented penicillin, Alexander Fleming, sorry, was born in 1881, who discovered it by accident. He found a mold from soil killed deadly bacteria without injuring... Wait, what? He found that mold from soil killed deadly bacteria without injuring human tissue. He received the Nobel Peace Prize in 1954. August 7th. Following the attacks on 2 U.S. destroyers in the Gulf of Tonkin, off North Vietnam, the U.S. Congress approved the Gulf of Tonkin Resolution, granting President LBJ authority to take all necessary measures to repeal any armed attacks against forces of the United States and prevent further aggressions. August 7th, still 1990, just 5 days after the Iraqi invasion of Kuwait, President Bush orders Desert Shield, a massive military buildup to prevent further Iraqi advances. African-American statesman and Nobel Peace recipient Ralph G. Bunche, or it's either Bunches, or I don't know how to pronounce that, was born in 1904 in Detroit. August 8th, 1945, the Soviet Union declares war on Japan and sends troops to Japanese-held Manchuria. I suppose I said that right?
Uh-huh.
I always say
it's,
I wanted to say Manchurian for some reason. I don't know why.
Okay. Yeah, it's basically like north of Korea.
Yeah, because they had the war right after World War One.
Yeah.
Over that land.
Sino-Japanese War, is that right?
Yeah.
And then Roosevelt was the one that went over there and...
He was like, yo, dog, come down. August 9th.
I picture the big Gungan from Star Wars at the end of episode 1 that holds up that like orb.
Oh. Oh, okay. All right. August 9th, 1945, the second atomic bomb bombing of Japan occurred as a American B-29 bomber headed for the city of Kokura, but because of poor visibility, then chose a secondary target, Nagasaki, which I did not know. About
Tokyo was on the list for a while.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that was like the biggest city, but about noon, the bomb detonated, killing an estimate 70,000 people and destroying about half the city. 1974, effective at noon, Richard Nixon resigned the presidency as a result of the Watergate scandal. Nixon had appeared on television the night before and announcing his decision to the American people. Facing possible impeachment by the Congress, he became the only president ever to resign. August 10th, only thing that happened that day was the birth of Herbert Hoover on 1874, the 31st president, who was the first president born west of the Mississippi.
Okay.
Interesting.
Sure.
What's the fact?
No, yeah. Cool.
Sure. Thanks. August 11th, 1841. Frederick Douglass, an escaped slave, spoke before an audience in the North for the first time during an anti-slave convention on I can't read right now. Nantucket. Jesus. Island. He gave a powerful and emotional account of his life as a slave. He was immediately asked to become a full-time lecturer for the Massachusetts Anti-Slavery Society. August 11th through the 16th, 1965. 6 days of riots began in the Watts area of Los Angeles, triggered by an incident between the white members and a white member of the California Highway Patrol and African American motorists. 34 deaths were reported and more than 3,000 people were arrested. Damage to the property was listed at $40 million.
It's actually not as high as I thought it would have been, but maybe it's like if you adjust for inflation now, it's probably pretty high up there.
Yeah, it would probably, yeah. Roots author Alex Haley was born in 1921. He, sorry, I thought that was a girl for some reason. His Pulitzer Prize-winning novel was published in 1974, or no, 1976. Jesus. Explored 7 generations of his family, from its origins in Africa through slavery and in America, and eventually had hard-fought through. I can't read right now. From its hard-fought freedoms, Jesus Christ. Roots was translated into 37 languages and became an 8-part television miniseries in 1977, which attracted a record American audience and raised awareness concerning the legacy of slavery. Whew. Done.
You made it.
Jesus.
Got through it.
Oh, I feel so numb right now, dude. Oh, God. History, dude. That's like some pretty good knowledge right there.
Yeah.
I probably didn't read all that correctly, but yeah. I feel like, Men in Black? I feel like that happened to me right now.
Someone taught you how to read, and it's like, look right here, the last step.
Yeah. As we keep on going, I don't know. I'm gonna try to maybe hone in on some of the more important things during the week, and then expand a little bit, because I feel like I'll just say some of the birthdays and stuff, or people that were born, and then go into the bigger ones. I don't know. Even though this week was pretty stacked, there was the bombings, obviously, the Voters' Rights Act. What was the other one? There was another one that was important in there.
Penicillin.
The guy Marilyn Monroe, and then Russia obviously declaring war and stuff. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff in there.
Yep.
I like looking at it though, as looking stuff as far back in the 15 to 1600s. I think it's kind of interesting
to see how far like America's kind of been around in a way, or people been in America.
Yeah.
Not been around, you know what I mean? But like as settlers in America, it's just weird. And I remember that Joe Rogan thing you said, like we're only 3 people away from the start of the country, which is insane. It's like, whoa, what? But yeah, yeah, it's interesting. History is cool. If you don't like history, I don't know. I can't do anything for you. But yes, that was our history for the week. Hope you enjoyed that. Me struggling to read stuff that I read already before, but for some reason can't say the word.
Bright lights.
I think I had like Evan told me I probably have dyslexia where I replace words for words. So I'm like, probably. I don't know. I won't get it checked. But yeah, moving on. A lot of stuff happened this week.
It was a pretty crazy week.
The biggest thing probably, I think, in the news, or I would say in the social media news, has been InfoWars with Alex Jones, I would say, which is kind of interesting how there's a lot of arguments that were displayed through a lot of the chats and a lot of through Twitter and whatever, Facebook and stuff. And I've seen it, like, I would say I would seen it from every angle. I get it. What I want to ask is, like, the initial question is, was banning him the right thing to do in the sense of I mean, is it a right thing to do in society to ban him?
No.
Okay.
Especially, I think the conundrum here is that was a great sentence. Whether or not Facebook and Twitter and YouTube and all of these, are they platforms or are they sources? If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So they have always claimed to be platforms. And if you are a platform, then what happened to InfoWars can't happen. Because all you are is a platform for speech.
And creativity
and so whatever that speech is, see, everyone has the right to speak, and everyone also has the right not to listen.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't want to hear anything from InfoWars, then don't follow them, or don't listen, don't click the link onto their thing, or
also don't promote.
Don't watch their YouTube videos.
I think another thing that's what you're seeing is like people. You're kind of if you repost, oh, look at this idiot. You're still promoting whatever he's doing.
Like that person's getting clicks.
Yeah, like
they're making money off of you.
I don't think you understand like reposting something that's like that. Like, oh, look how stupid Alex. And then people are gonna like, how crazy is this guy? I want to go watch this.
Yeah.
And like you're basically promoting. I think that's what I think the left doesn't know, but even the right too as well. But
yeah, it happens on stuff like that happens on both sides. Where it's like, oh, look at this. Look at how stupid this person is.
I thought one of the interesting arguments was the way people were talking about how, for me, looking at it a business standpoint, if I saw that I was losing sponsors or whatever ad money through, like, say on YouTube, I was losing ad money on Alex Jones, then yes, I think I would have, like, the argument of, like, I would see it that way. Like, yeah, I could think I would have the right to say, I would think, he's gotten warnings and stuff. I think I would have, they need to handle it better, I feel, like, for YouTube especially, because they've warned him. I think the final warning has to be, like, I feel, with as big of a channel he is, I know, like, we got to treat everyone equally, but for him, like, you got to, like, I think like a meeting with him would have been the better, or some kind of conference call, like, tell him, like, hey, yo, dude, like, this is what's happening. Getting more of a straightforward answer than just outright just taking everything.
So remind me, like, what were the warnings for?
They're
like,
just,
for people who may not know, or like,
from what I've seen, it's just older videos of, like, the conspiracy theory stuff, like the Sandy Hook stuff. Their other one was like some weird, I don't know what it was, a weird video. I have to, like, relook at it. It was just like a stupid way of banning someone, basically. It looked like to me, and I follow the Philip DeFranco channel, so he covers this a lot. But just like the process for YouTube specifically, I think for the bigger voices or the bigger channels or something like this, they need to, like, directly go to them, like, hey, yo, before you're doing this, like, before banning, I think for sure the process needs to be better. understand like YouTube itself is like they're very busy. Going obviously have us uploading and everyone else in the world, but for that kind of channel, I think they need to go directly and say, hey, yo, this is what's happening. Especially after like I mean, I get the warnings and stuff, but like, and he should have maybe toned it down. But I think from the reason why they banned him, I forgot what he said this past week, but it was just like, I guess it did cross the line. If it was like it wasn't Pizzagate, it was something else. I got to re-listen to the Philip DeFranco show because he had like a whole thick 15-minute video. But basically there was like they just banned him, and then you just saw a whole domino effect of like all the other social media like Spotify, Facebook. I think I'm not sure about Twitter. They got in on it. iTunes obviously was like a big one, or Apple. And it was just like interesting how like everyone just threw it all out. I get the idea that I don't want to call them lies because I don't know if they're lies. For me, like gay frogs, I think it's funny. Like I love the what's it? I think that there's like a not Bonovere. It's someone does like a parody music video of him. It's like really funny. But I mean, the Sandy Hook stuff is like pretty nasty. I don't think that's true, but like, I don't know. There's still stuff that he says that are like some of it like, in a way, is kind of like Trump. I'm not saying like they're exactly the same, but I'm saying like Trump and like, what's going on with this kind of issue? Why aren't we addressing this? There's stuff like that I've seen him say. Just like on little things like backtracking on like certain candidates or something like that I've seen him talk about, but I'm not saying like he's totally necessary to be like you need to listen to him or something like that. I'm just saying like he's definitely said some weird stuff in the past that like makes sense. Like gay frogs, that's a fact, a thing that's actually happened.
Yeah,
which is like weird, like to bring it up, but it's like there's stuff like he says that are actually sometimes are actually true. It's just you have to like not cite the sources, but just double check what he's saying. But for me, I don't know. It's like First Amendment and stuff, but it's also going back to like the what's it called? I mean, YouTube is a business, and also that the Supreme Court decision with like the guy not baking the cake for the gay couple. It's kind of like that in a way. I kind of see it that way as well. So it's like, I get like they're a platform, but I think they need to be more upfront as well. I think a lot of people on the left need to be more upfront what they're actually doing and what they're actually standing for or what they actually are. Because I feel like they are too vague, or they just don't want. They're just avoiding the label. But yeah, I think it sucks for him, just because I don't know what he's gonna do now, but he's gotten a lot of publicity out of it. I know he's been on he's been a guest on Howard Stern. I'm guessing he'll probably get on Howard Stern because of this again and talk about this, and then he'll probably plead his case, and then also with Joe Rogan probably. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what happens in the next coming.
This microphone
weeks.
hates me.
I think you just gotta like you keep on pulling it towards you. That's the problem.
I used this elbow like you told me to.
No, but originally you were doing. You have to have it like.
Flush.
You know how I have it like this? Like all the way.
It's on there all the way.
Like can you feel like the round thing, right? And then can you feel a piece of metal under the like?
No, the round thing's like turned into the gap between the two things.
Yeah, you want to get it under the metal.
There's no metal down there. No, because I can't see through the table.
Oh no, but like you gotta feel what I'm feeling.
That's not metal. It's plastic.
What's harder plastic than what this is? That's what I have under this one, dude.
All right, whatever. Continue.
Well,
I'll continue real quick.
yeah.
I just think that no, I can hold my own mic. I got it.
I'll fix it.
I think there's been for me personally, I feel like there's been a disturbing. Is that I'm not sure if that's the right word. Concerning, probably not disturbing. Concerning attack on the First Amendment. What I view as an attack on the First Amendment. I think that what YouTube and all of YouTube, Apple, Google, all of them did is fine, especially like YouTube, Facebook, people like that. If you just like declare that you are not a platform, they have to define themselves. They can't play this game where they are claiming to be a platform but are acting as a private organization with skin in the game. Like, you can't have it both ways, in my opinion.
All right, we're back. Technical difficulties.
Okay.
No, we're good. We don't need it.
So basically, it's just like there's Twitter has recently had its own. What I was saying was that like people like these, especially the social media, like Google and Apple are kind of, although Google owns YouTube, I think, right?
Yeah.
So like I kind of view them as like their own thing. Like those, I guess in some ways Apple is a platform as well.
Podcast.
Yeah, for like podcasts and stuff like that. But Facebook, YouTube specifically, you need to declare, like, if you're gonna behave as if you're not a platform, then you need to declare that you're not a platform. You don't get to have it both ways. You don't get to say, "Oh, we're a platform to put your stuff up on, whatever," and then treat you like they're not a platform.
Yeah. I mean,
you can't pick and choose. And then
okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Twitter has like their own problems with recently the shadow banning thing, where it's like, oh, and then they came out and said that, and the shadow banning is only happening to people on the right, and they said,
well, there's people on the left that's been shadow banned, but yeah.
When I read about it a couple weeks ago, I didn't find anyone on the left that happened to. Anyway, maybe there is, maybe there has been, but it is predominantly on the on the right.
Predominantly on the right. Yeah.
Then they come out and say, "Oh, we don't shadow ban," but in the same press release said that like, "Oh, we may make it harder for you to find things." So it's like we don't shadow ban, but we kind of shadow ban.
Yeah.
And like you can't have that either. And then there was a Candace Owen thing not too long ago where like she made one post with like the adjective for the person was white, and then the next one was like Jewish or whatever, as this like test thing to see like what would be banned and what wasn't. So like there's just like you can't have it both ways. You can't have your cake and eat it too.
Yeah, I think and then there's still stuff on like YouTube that are like way worse than like, or all these social media that are just way worse than Alex Jones. Just like a lot of stuff.
But they don't have the reach.
Yeah, they don't have the reach. That's what I'm saying too. That was like what I was gonna. But I think also what you're looking at is like when I. Oh, what was I gonna say? Like I posted something in the chat thing we had, and I said like, is Alex Jones worse than communism? And like I think it was like a majority of everyone just said, Alex Jones is a piece of shit. But yes, Alex Jones is not worse than communism. So I'm like, but there's a lot of pro-communism stuff, like stuff like that goes like on the internet. There's like terrorist organizations that use social media, stuff like that are way worse than Alex Jones. We're not trying to like say we're not trying to say we're endorsing or we're supporting Alex Jones from what he says, but he still has or should have a place at the table just because of the.
He has a right to say it.
Yeah, and then also I would think with Mark Zuckerberg, he said the wording on what he said when he was at the Hill like not too long ago, basically saying like, yeah, Facebook is a publication, like in gist of it, and like they're not. They're supposed to be a platform in a way.
Mm-hmm.
And like you see also on Facebook is like there was a video on explaining different governments, and it was covered, and there was nothing like, there's no blood, there's no nudity, there's nothing like that. It was just straight because what was being said either was offensive or just not what Facebook wants. And I thought that was interesting. Like, why is this video being covered? It's just talking about like different governments and stuff, and explaining like fascism and communism and stuff. That was just like,
yeah,
it's just weird.
I think it's just a bit of a slippery slope.
Yeah, I think the only thing you can really do, like I posted, I'm like, yeah, it seems like the right needs to make some kind of social media site where you allow everyone to speak regardless. And that's it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no competition. There's competition, but there's no real competition until YouTube.
I think I was going to say the first thing that needs to come if there's going to be any changes is some sort of alternative to YouTube. And I guess there are probably some smaller sites out there that are available now. But like with everything YouTube's doing with like demonetizing like Dave Rubin, for example, like it happens to him all the time.
Him, yeah, for sure.
Or at least he's the most probably one of the most public.
Yeah, him and Philip DeFranco have been pretty public about it. And
Yeah.
like Philip DeFranco is explaining like what goes on in the video, and just like I don't know why it's being demonetized for, and it's like one of the like he doesn't know what
Right.
some of the
Yeah,
reasons
yeah.
why it just turns off.
Yeah.
it's
So
weird.
YouTube has problems that could be resolved, but I mean, obviously, there are a lot of people that's like, oh, well, just like go make your own thing to put videos on. It's like, yeah, that's like not at all easy.
Yeah.
And you have someone that's claiming to be just a platform, but like I said for like the third time, they're not behaving as if they're just a platform.
They're policing.
Like there shouldn't really be a need for someone to have to go make their own like video site. There shouldn't be that need. YouTube should be neutral. And just YouTube is a platform that people put videos on. And if you don't like those videos,
then don't watch it.
Then don't watch it. You have the right. Everyone has the right to speak, and you have the right not to listen.
Yeah.
And you have the right to say whatever you want about whatever they said.
And also, I think it's just like people are just not being adults about this either. They're just like being very, like they act like, I feel like a lot of it's just like high school, like responses. Like, dude, we're not in high school still, dude. Come on, calm down.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Anyway.
But yeah, I mean, let us know what you guys think. If you think Alex Jones, if you know, if he should have been banned, if he shouldn't. We know he is not the best of peoples, but like I said, I get the argument like he spreads lies and stuff. I'm like, dude, there's a lot of other people that lie straight to your face and you don't even know it. So, welcome to America.
Basically,
you just fact check him, and that's it. That's all you can do. Just do some research. Don't be lazy and like just believe everything he says. I don't get that. Like that's another thing. That's probably another problem. What it is.
Yeah.
And what goes on with the Facebook videos and stuff. I'm like, oh, just double check the facts. That's it. That's all you gotta do. Let's move on to our
everyone's favorite Democratic Socialist.
Yes, let's move on to everyone's favorite Democratic Socialist of America candidate, Miss Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. As we both listen to the Ben Shapiro podcast, and he's been very vocal. Like, I like Ben Shapiro's just thoughts on like courts decisions and stuff, but like this is the one where like he's getting really emotional and passionate about it, and like he's gotten so passionate about it that he's willing to put $10 into Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's campaign to either go on his show.
$10,000.
Is it? Did I say 10,000?
It's $10,000.
Did I say 10,000? What did I say?
You said $10.
Oh, I thought I said 10,000. My bad. $10,000.
$10,000.
Yeah, to her campaign if she would go and talk to him. Basically, that's all it was. Really, the gist of it.
Yeah.
Either debate him or go on and talk about, because like if you've not listened to his Sunday special, all he does is like have random people come in and they just talk for an hour. They talk both politics on both sides. He's definitely had people on the left.
Oh yeah, for sure.
On the show and just talked about it, and like it gets pretty deep in the conversations and stuff. But I would like to see her on there, just because of the stuff she just says, and I'm just like, what? And that's another thing goes into the Alex Jones thing, where she says something, people are gonna believe it, and like that's how it works. But that's not how it works. And if you want to like compare people to like lying, she's getting up there now. So it's like, I definitely want to see her get challenged, because like all of her interviews and all of her things that she's been on, she's been basically like, they've been holding her hand the whole time, and like they definitely need someone in there to just talk to her and like show her some facts. It doesn't need to be confrontational in a way. I think I think what probably will happen is that she would, if it actually did happen, like, oh no, you're wrong. It's like basically what Jimmy Kimmel does to anyone that talks about politics. He's like, no, you're wrong. You're wrong. That's all he says. And like, but for her, I think that's basically what's going to happen if it does. But I think it won't. And then she responded, kind of, because someone tweeted at her, and like she took a picture of the tweet and then retweeted that out, and saying like or Ben Shapiro was catcalling her, which I thought was funny what you said in the comments. Someone said like, well, for Ben Shapiro, catcalling a girl to do a debate, it's kind of like it's kind of his thing.
Yeah.
He's like, I wouldn't be surprised. Not that I'm saying Ben Shapiro jerks off to politics in his spare time, but he enjoys it so much. I mean, that's what his thing is. And we're not saying like Ben Shapiro jerks off to weird stuff. Okay, that's what we're not establishing that there. But in our heads, we see that. Yeah, I think this would be an interesting thing to happen. I think Candace Owens doubled that. She said $20,000, and and then it won't be like, because it'll be her doing it, and it's not a catcall, or in a way. I forgot what the exact tweet, but she said like some kind of anti-feminist thing or whatever. And I thought like, okay, yeah. I mean, not that I think Candace Owens is the best representative.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It's like Candace Owens might not be the person that I chose for that debate.
But if it would for someone to challenge her, I would be fine with that, because I feel like, not that they're at the same level, but I would feel comfortable with that happening instead.
I think as far as like Ben getting involved, I think from his point of view, because the reality is that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is not running unopposed, but like might as well be running unopposed.
Yeah.
I mean, like, she's gonna win her district. I think what's more worrying is that she has somehow become not the face, but a face for the Democratic Party, even though she's not even in the Democratic Party. But I think that's what's worrying, is that her line of thinking is rapidly becoming popular on the left.
Well, yeah, because it's the same thing
like
as
she's really far left.
Yeah, but like what she says, it's like the same thing of what Alex Jones saying in a way. It's just like, this is not true.
Yeah, I get. Yeah. But I think,
how
but
things
from
work,
what
how she's like explaining how she's gonna be able to do universal health care and college for all and everything. Like, it's like, what's she talking about?
Yeah, and then she had a tweet that I saw this morning that was talking about how, because the Space Force thing has been in the news a lot, and like she tweeted basically that like, everyone always asks me about like, how am I gonna pay for universal health care and free education, but no one's asking like, how are we gonna pay for Space Force and like the tax cut. And it's like, well, yeah, the like all of military spending, the like one of the tweets I saw in response was that like all of military spending is, I think it was 12% of our federal budget.
I think it's 16.
And Medicare, okay, fine.
Yeah.
Say it's 20% of our federal budget, and like Medicare and healthcare and like all those things like is 59%.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's huge. Like, that's a huge financial difference.
And that's another thing, like
to make up.
If you can't figure out how to do that stuff now, like the problem, I think the root of it has gone back to the 60s for me, of like social, or like the real like stacking of everything that's happening. I read Thomas Sowell. I mean, people will probably not like that I read Thomas Sowell, but his book Disparity and is it Discrimination and Disparity, or Disparities? Yeah. There's a lot of interesting facts, and how social programs kind of incentivize people to kind of fail. And it's like, if we can't produce people or teach people how to be successful and be able to go out on their own and not have to rely on these kind of programs, where are we going? Like, I get we're a modern society, but shouldn't a modern society be able to teach people how to, work for themselves and be able to provide?
Mm-hmm.
And like, it's like, I don't get this idea of just free college for all. I just like, it's not constitutional. And also, it's like, why we just want to not work for things anymore? For me, like, that's what I don't know, because I'm a Hispanic. I mean, there's different things that people say about Hispanics, like not working hard and whatnot. But like, I always thought like, you got to work your ass off and stuff. So and then stuff will happen. Like, I don't know. Like, for me, like, if anyone told me like, what time and period would you want to live in? I would want to live where my grandfather lived, his time, because I feel like that was such a great time in America in the 50s. raising all his kids and stuff, and then also kind of being socially accepted. Because I mean, Hispanics are, they're not. I mean, they're brown, but not like totally. Like I feel like there was racism, but like where he lived and everything, there wasn't that much racism. It was all military, basically, like neighborhood where people didn't see colors. So, your I don't know what you military people call it, military people, but you know what I mean. Like we're Americans. We're not. I'm not Mexican. I'm not, Native American. I'm American in a way. And I don't know. It's just weird for me. I don't know. But yeah, it's something that needs to be. I think she does need to have some kind of reality check.
Yeah.
But I think it's also good for her in a way if she gets this reality check. Because I feel like also with the left, no one gets really challenged, and especially you see it in like the educational system too. Like, where everyone on the right is basically quiet, and and everyone on the left is basically vocal in all their points and what they want to say. But like they're never really challenged in a way when they go out into the real world. And I think that's a thing that needs to happen more often. That's what I try to do as much. I'm not trying to change people's minds, but I'm trying to make people understand. That's like my go-to thing. It's like, I don't care about changing your mind. I want to make you understand. If you don't understand, then you have a problem.
Yeah. I guess we haven't really talked too much about how, like, her actual response. Like, so basically she compared Ben Shapiro reaching out. It's like her tweet was that, like, I'll respond to this as if I was responding to a cat call, basically. And, like, that's just not, it was a pretty childish response.
Yeah.
To, like, a simple, just, like, all Ben Shapiro wants is to have a discussion. And then she's trying to, like, shame him publicly for asking for a discussion, for a debate. I don't know. And then she got a lot of blowback for that, obviously, from a lot of women on the right. And then, like, the whole Candace Owen thing came in. I feel that in some ways I would want this sort of debate because I personally want her line of thinking to be destroyed, like, publicly, like, just annihilated with facts. At the same time, I think the longer you wait, the more thorough the dismantling of her opinions would be.
Yeah, I think it's
if
hurting
that
her.
makes sense.
It's hurting her too, just to go on these shows and talk. Honestly,
Yes,
I'm like, I think the latest thing where she was explaining Nancy Pelosi and stuff, and I was just like, she literally just had to say like one sentence, but she said like the text.
she talks herself into a hole.
Yeah, I'm like, who is your PR person or what's going on, dude? Like, like, sit her down and like say like, hey, this is what you need to say. This is it. That's all you got to say. And after that, then you're done.
Yeah.
I'm
not sure what that is.
We have fire. I think it's an ash that got into that.
Oh, maybe. A lot of wildfires burning
yeah,
around
yeah,
here.
we're in California. But yeah, I don't know. It's weird because I feel like it's only people in like the blue areas, which is only like L.A., San Francisco, and like New York, which are like very blue, and then stuff south of New York and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Basically
like,
all of New England.
Yeah, like all think this way, and everyone else, even Portland too, that all think this way, and like it's just weird how like the rest of the country are just not.
I don't even think it's that bad. I don't think it is that, like, necessarily all the people in California.
Well, I'm not saying California. No, I'm saying in L.A. specifically.
Okay. All the people in metropolitan California, or like all the people anywhere that is blue, which is like most metropolitan cities.
Yeah.
And like the Northeast. I think that what scares me is not that all of those people think this way. It's that we're so divided as a country right now that they will vote for that over the alternative.
Yeah.
Or it's like there is a huge group in the middle that doesn't want either, but are pigeonholed into picking one or the other, and half of those people are gonna pick democratic socialism
because it sounds nicer.
Because they're not gonna vote Republican.
Yeah, because it sounds nicer.
Sure, or whatever the reason is, but not because those are actually not because that's what they actually want. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, but I feel like it just sounds. I feel for most people like, oh, free money. Yeah,
Like especially this
free education.
upcoming. Well, I think that's more of a problem for people our age.
Yeah.
I think like anyone older than like the next generation older than us, like I don't think they're that stupid.
Well, yeah. I think also what you're looking at is like our generation at the moment is like, there's not a lot of Republicans in our age group, and like I've been a Republican since I was 18, so, or at least that's when I first voted.
Mm-hmm.
But and there's not a lot of us, but a lot. I guess there's always that thing where people change and whatever. I remember talking to a lady at one of the, I don't know what it was. It was like basically where all these Republican candidates were talking or speaking on their whatever as a platform, and like I would talk to one of the ladies and she talked about how she was a Democrat in the 70s, and once Carter, she flipped after Carter basically, and how she was like in her younger days, like in her early 20s, she was a Democrat, and then she flipped basically. So like,
I mean that.
I think that's like a thing that happens a lot, regardless.
Yeah, I mean if you look at the statistics, like the older you are, the more conservative you tend to be. The higher educated you are, the more conservative you tend to be. And then I think also at the same time, the least educated you are, you're also more. There's like the middle is more likely to be Democrat, but the fringes are more likely to be conservative. I don't know. There's a lot of weird statistics when it comes to stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I just want to see her just continue to get memed, and I know I'm kind of being a dick about it, but that's just the way it is, dog. It's a good joke. I like laughing. Honestly, she's hilarious.
It is. Every I've watched probably like 4 like lengthy interviews of her, and it's just like I don't understand how she got this far.
Yeah, another thing too is like I like how like the left complains when they made that interview,
the parody
interviews. They get all mad about that, but then it's totally fine for them to do it to someone on the right. It's like, oh, it's a joke, dude. Come on, calm down. I'm like, well, what are we doing over here then, dude?
The Colbert interview of Donald Trump.
Yeah.
It's
like what is? Come on, dude.
Yeah,
double standard, bro. I don't know. That's my problem with the left. But yeah, that's it, guys. I think that's it, right?
Yep.
We got through it. Nothing else we want to talk about? Chloe
No, I think
Dykstra
we're
or
good.
anything like that? Or
I mean, I guess we could.
real quick?
Yeah. So we it's probably been 3 or 4 episodes ago, maybe even
No,
more than
longer
that.
It's been like a month.
We talked about the whole Chloe Dykstra, Chris Hardwick
situation.
Scandal situation, whatever. At the time, AMC had removed Chris Hardwick from The Talking Dead while there was like kind of an internal investigation into the allegations against him. And since then, as of I think it's been 2 or 3 weeks
2 weeks at
ago,
least.
that AMC reinstated Chris Hardwick into The Talking Dead. So whatever they found or like whatever came out in the discussions with the two parties, like AMC is siding with Chris Hardwick, which is I think very telling, just because for things like this, it tends to be like guilty until proven innocent kind of thing, and like people are just like they lose their jobs immediately without any like
due process.
Right, yeah. And so to see like AMC, it has to be pretty cut and dry, honestly. Probably whatever facts were brought forward or whatnot, it has to be pretty cut and dry that AMC was willing to bring him back.
Yeah.
They're willing to stand behind him, and like that what she alleged didn't happen.
I think we obviously giving your update, but whatever happened, like there were just I feel like there was people around that he brought in kind of vouch for him probably with AMC. I don't know what's going on with Nerdist. Probably is going to stay the way it is, but I kind of feel, I know that Chris. I've talked to people that have met Chris Hardwick. He's not the nicest person.
Okay.
But or he's kind of, I don't know. That's just I've heard only one good thing, and then a handful of just people that I've met him that have not have had a good experience. But regardless, that's only he said, she said. I've never met him, so you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But whatever was said, like obviously gave the green light for them to like say, you know what, this is ridiculous. Whatever she's saying, like what you brought forth to us is obviously good enough for us to say that like we endorse you. And
they have to be really confident.
Yeah.
In just like the current climate
Yeah.
they'd have to be really confident in him to bring him back. I think so.
Yeah, I think he does a good job on The Talking Dead too. So.
I've never watched it, so I don't know.
Yeah, because I watched The Walking Dead. So.
So, yeah.
But yeah, that's our update. Because like we said, we were going to update eventually, and this is our update to that story that we talked about a month ago. So yeah, thank you guys for watching the first full whatever we were gonna do thing of the Jacob and Me podcast show. Final form, maybe we'll see.
Possibly. Final form with an asterisk.
But yes, before we go ahead and like the video. Go ahead and subscribe to the College Avenue channel. Also, go check out our other podcast stuff. We do an awesome podcast on show called Across the Pond. If you like soccer, like we like soccer, come watch two American boys talk about soccer over there. And there's other stuff that we're going to be announcing soon, or some other stuff we're going to roll out and whatnot. But yeah, go ahead and share this with all your invisible friends as well. I've been Richard Radio.
I'm Jacob Boyd.
And we'll see you guys. I don't know, next time. Yeah. Cool. Bye. 2 hours, dog.